Hello, good morning. Another thought for the day, he said. Well, it's always hard to put into words sometimes the inner thoughts of one's mind. We hear and watch many videos, I'm sure, about the Philippines. And in doing so, we get a snippet of information from them to see how things are. Hi. Um, and here it is, Sunday morning. Sunshine's coming out. Going to be a pleasant day, I can see that. Morning. And as many of you are probably aware, that we talk about relationships on this channel a lot, I suppose because they preoccupy my mind and also your own. You're always apprehensive or maybe just simply a little naive in some cases about having a relationship here in the Philippines with a young Filipino or a middle-aged or an elderly person more close to your own age. But one thing that maybe hasn't been spoken about a lot, and that is the pulling the plug, not in the bathtub, but pulling the plug to a relationship that you can clearly see isn't going anywhere. It's just dormant, one might say. It's full of toxic remarks, toxic behavior, and certainly not good for one's mind. And I can share the fact that I've experienced all of those things myself. So, moving on, he said, it is hard to pull the plug because but when somebody's older, myself, 76, going on 77, it's even harder because we're not used to pulling the plug on a relationship. By now, if we haven't got a relationship, we're probably unlikely to really expect one. That's why when somebody comes here who's late 60s, early 70s, it truly is a blessing if you find somebody who is prepared to show that caring and support to you. We're not talking about money, we're talking about the fact that they actually see you as a human being and you are of some value to them, because no relationship's any good unless there's some form of value in it. It might be financial, it could be even emotional, but most of all, it's companionship. Certainly when we get older, when all of the machinery is not maybe working as good as it used to. So one relies upon a real one-on-one relationship, one where you enjoy each other's company, where you can share in events and occupations, maybe gardening, maybe just walking, maybe mountaineering, even with a walking stick maybe. But the point is that you need that. And for many, the options are limited with the money that they bring to the Philippines. Because in many cases, it's your last hurrah money. It's the money you have left after all of the traumas of the past relationships in the West. It's a valuable resource, and many of us tend to not treat it that way. We tend to be guided by, I suppose, the wrong head, and our emotions get carried away. We stupidly pour money into something that none of us would normally do back home. Would we find a human being to live with and then sell ourselves down the road? I doubt it. But over here we seem to throw caution to the wind, and as a result we can certainly be burnt, as I can attest to. And the point is that most Filipinos think everything is on their side. And it's pretty true to say that. But then if you really want to push the boundaries, there's always people like Ruffo. He's a guy on TV, he's a senator here in the Philippines, and he has a channel, TV channel, or you could call it the YouTube channel, where he tries to sort out and get common ground between often foreigners, aggrieved foreigners, who found themselves in sticky situations with rather over-greedy young ladies who decide that it's time to take this foreigner to the cleaners. And we have to remember that airing one's dirty linen has consequences. And the consequences, of course, get wrapped up in saving face in the justice system. Threats, innuendo, you name it, it's going to be piled on that person who decides to go that route. You only have to look at people like the Armstrong family and their very, very, very public breaking up. And also the situation of David and Rose. David and Rose, sadly, it looks like they're heading the same way. And there are others. Well, I don't need to mention all of them because it's just going to open up a sore in many of those bloggers, because I follow them and I sympathize with the situation they're in. And there are many out there who've gone through it and more than likely will try and help you resolve those issues in a more civilized manner, if there is such a thing here in the Philippines. You see, you'll find that Filipinos always rush to the idea that, oh, bring a case. Go on, bring a case, they'll say. Of course, they don't think about where the money's going to come from because, of course, they think everyone's going to run to their aid. They're going to get free legal aid and free payments on everything. Well, I can assure you that generally doesn't happen. All of it is, it's just more of the bluff. Morning, Mum. Collecting your water again. The lady's taking her water away to get filled up. And you guys have got to realize that bluff plays a big part in the psyche of immature, I'll say immature, but they're adult people who do these things. And they believe that intimidation, stupid behavior, childish behavior is the method of the day. And of course, I can also attest to, I've experienced the same myself over many, many years. But we tend to brush over it. We tend to work our way around and try and see if we can calm the situation down. And sometimes we can and sometimes we can't. But eventually what happens is that you just get nowhere and you end up convincing yourself and others that maybe the best is to pull the plug. But as I said earlier, pulling the plug is not an easy task. You know, there's things that you don't want to leave unattended, unfinished. Maybe it's just your own personal belief that you're doing the right thing. But whether or not it is up to you individually. But slowly but surely the penny does drop and you start in the back of your mind looking at alternatives, looking at the options that are available. And many of those options are available. It's just simply a case of getting the courage to make that final move, make that first important step. So if you like this video, don't forget to like, and like is a thumbs up. Share and subscribe, but most importantly, two things. Thumbs up, because the thumbs up bring more people to the channel. And the other one, very important too, comments. Comments to yourself, comments to me, comments to maybe other people's comments. They're all greatly received, and I'm hopeful that you continue doing so. So, bye now.